Warning. Haymakers and Hellhounds may contain one or more of the following: strong language, suggested scenes of graphic violence, and topics of a sensitive nature. The opinions expressed here do not necessarily reflect the network's views. Viewer discretion is advised.
Episode 8, Haymakers and Hellhounds. What's up, my peoples? I am Thomas Duder, author of The Things. If you had the intestinal fortitude to hang with me with all 8 episodes, good on you. Congrats for coming along this far. Has my style helped you out? I hope it has. Here we are, tying it all together. I mentioned in the last episode that I think very fast. I will think of all of, like when I was working with this world, with Planet Ark, with the Nexus, with the Muse, this dimension, I was honestly, it's something where I actually had to stop myself from going forward with certain points of information because it's like, holy shit, I should do this on cam. I also discovered another thing. I had meant for this show for me to build this world right off the bat, but then I realized, and I think I've actually mentioned this in another episode, I actually found a whole crap ton of notes for this very thing. With that stated, there's a lot of stuff that I came up with right here, including the goddesses' names and such, and amongst other things. The fact that we now call it Planet Ark, the Nexus being in the heart of the world, which actually is the second time I have done this particular story trope, but whatever. The fact that the dimension is alive. We've solidified a lot in the series that weren't in my original notes, which if you consider that engineer gardener bullshit that I do, yeah. Right now it's all gardening. Once I actually sit down to make this thing, write it out and get it published, I'll switch to engine. So tying it all together, it's not just a recap that I'm trying to offer here, but also I want to point out once again, what have you done and what have I done even, as you've seen the story. Let's do. So originally in the setting, the genre, that's literally how I start off. I just, wham, I know immediately where I'm going to go, if it's sci-fi, fantasy, combination of the two, or a subversion of all three. There is such a thing, shut up, I know. Suffice it to say, I know for a fact that the setting and the genre is how I'm going to determine the fact that this thing that we're making here in Haymakers and Hellhounds is going to be fantasy, high dark fantasy with a lot of comedy thrown in. And that right off the bat tells me a lot of where I'm going to go from there and where I have gone from there. I'd like to point out with you too, you should realize this with your own work. Next came about engineers and gardeners, and it was actually around that point where I actually set quite a lot for this world, at least in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but in my head that's where I did it, so shut up. That's headcanon counts if it's word of God. I'm just saying. I'm the god in this, I'm the god of this atom. Pray I do not alter it further. So I know for a fact that as a gardener, I'm just throwing shit out there and seeing what sticks. I've already changed quite a bit of this right off the bat from episode 1. And that is something to consider, is do not be afraid to be flexible. Don't be afraid to incorporate new information. Don't be afraid to fuck with it. You know what I mean? This is something that I'm probably not even going to get to for at least another couple of years, if that. And when I do, you guys will certainly be the first to hear about it. Possibly my Patreon sponsors, but whatever. You guys will definitely be amongst the first to hear about it. So I'm just saying, it's something to consider right there, that as a gardener, I'm just throwing shit out there, and whatever sticks, I will carry over to the engineer phase and start writing. But I will ask again, and I've asked this before, and I will ask this a lot actually, what style are you? What are you doing? What have you done? Have you tried both? Have you tried either or? Do you find that maybe you really are a gardener when you thought you were an engineer? Something to consider. Either way, at this point in time, it's at that point between the moment I decide on the setting and I know for a fact I'm going to start taking down notes and jotting them down, and I'm going to start scripting out the characters, fleshing them out, all that shit. It's going to be good. So at that point in time is when I start scripting out the powers. Oh, that is something to consider right there, is the magic types. But once again, we know that there's hella elementals going on, so it's probably going to be elemental based. Crystal Age, shout out, or this name, title of the book, work in progress. Suffice it to say, battle magic is something that I alluded to and implied, but I should actually just put it out right there, that on this world there's going to be sword arts and battle magic, basically martial arts, energy, battle magic, once again. That has nothing to do with elements. But then you have elemental magic. All magic pretty much exists for fighting in this world. Sorry, this is a world at war. We presented that, where the human domain is trying to expand into everywhere else, and so they're fighting back on it. But there's been a peace There's been a stalemate for 20 years or so. So just basically waiting until the end of the cycle, which should break the stalemate, which is what Nexus is planning on, the king, which is what Nexus is planning on. But then another think happens, and another think a-coming. The sexy, sensuous, oh my god, I bet he fucks like a mink in a bathtub. She fucks like a mink in a bathtub. I want to be like we shifted genders inside of it. Oh my god. I'm just saying, that would be actually pretty painful actually if it's just vaginal sex, but whatever. Everybody has a butt, suffice it to say. We've taken down notes, and you should be definitely taking down notes in your own work. In Bloodlines and Families, I'm not going to lie, Bloodlines and Families and Fallen Rise of Kingdoms actually go hand in hand in my head. I can immediately weave those two together and just bickety-bam go like that during my notation. In fact, all of this I probably get down during my notes, just right there. But once again, I have to present this in a certain manner, so, So, Bloodlines and Families, which we already, once again, the fact that the bloodline of the king, which is easily possessed by Nexus, in fact, that's probably why the king's bloodline has been around for so long. It's just that they're easily possessed by Nexus. One of the things, that I mentioned was about the dwarves. I just now recently mentioned that they're the ones who touch the scale of Nexus. We should have a family that is actually slowly being corrupted by Nexus ever since then. So, like, I don't know, they're a head seer. Overseers? Overseers! Yeah, I like that. So, yeah, you have the Overseers family. If you play Fallout, you know what I'm talking about. You probably know why I responded the way I did. You have the Overseers family for the dwarves. The ambassadors, which, yeah, there's ambassadorial families. The royal ruling families of the elves are the ones who become ambassadors and get actually sent out of the Sky Castle, because that's where they're strongest, and the earth people, the ground people, don't need to know the ground dwellers don't need to know what the fuck they doing in those castles. Just saying. That's the reason why the hero has visited the Sky Castle, or will in this story. In fact, at some point in time, they're going to have to go to the Sky Castle in order to rally the elves behind their cause. Yeah. Because even though the stalemate persists, it doesn't mean Nexus can't do something as well. Now that all bets are off, now that the cycle's been broken, Nexus is building up his power to just fuck everything up. He just wants to do that final push and devour this dimension. Of course, Muse won't let that happen. Muse, who works through inspiration and as an actual Muse. Yeah. So that's dope. So as far as the Rise and Fall of Kingdoms, it's not exactly, there have been kingdoms that have fallen that were once part of the other races, but now belong solely to the humans. And when it comes to awesome events altogether, there's like I said, the most awesome thing for me is just the eventual revelation, which I just ruined here, but whatever, spoilers. Revelation that Nexus has actually been infesting the planet for so many generations. It can't take the action to just devour the dimension until it has completely corrupted the world enough through the spread of the power of humanity. Are you saying that humanity is a virus? Yes. Even Iron Maiden's got a song about it. Fuck you. I'm just saying, we do spread like a virus. But we are a royal virus. We're the virus that screams I at the heart of the world. That's kind of devilish. The devil kingish, though. Suffice it to say, there's a lot of multidimensional bullshittery going on in this world, but you can see how it all ties together from the setting to now. And that's literally when I build a world, these are the things I take into mind. I flesh it out just by asking those questions and by answering those questions even more so. You can ask all you want, but the best thing to do is when you have answers or find answers. I'm just saying. So I want you, and I know this is going to be a short episode, I apologize, but admittedly, we're just going over stuff, and adding on where we can. I want you guys in your own works to consider how these techniques, how asking these questions can help flesh out your world. Just right off the bat, the most, literally, coming out the gates, the strongest tool I have in my toolbox is the setting the genre, asking myself, what is this? And what am I doing? I mentioned earlier in a previous episode about awareness, about being aware of what you're doing when you create, being aware of what you're doing and where you're going to go with it, and consistency, being consistent with it. That is more important than anything else to me still. Without further ado, I think it's about time. We've created this world, Planet Ark, Planet Nexus, depending on how you look at it, you know what I mean? Ark Nexus. Oh, I like that! This is neither Ark, nor am I Nexus. Behold, the symphony of the night. No, symphony of darkness. Ark Nexus! I would be louder if I didn't have neighbors, but whatever. I like that. I like that revelation sequence. Oh my God! I am the symphony. Behold the symphony of darkness. Arc Nexus. So yeah. So you literally have Nexus the Avatar as the king, Nexus the planet as Arc Nexus, and they're just pretty much going to combine and devour the entire dimension of Muse. Yeah. Oh damn, that's some good shit. So that's where we're at. We have created this world now, to me. Now, yeah, as we continue on and make the characters that inhabit it, which, quote-unquote, we already have, but have we really? There's plenty more to do in next season, as we're going to talk about in the next episode. So, with that stated, I hope you guys don't mind a shorter than usual episode on this one. But, for the most part, in the very next episode, we'll be going over what kind of adventure this was, just making this series, but even more so what to expect for the next season. Well, with that noted, catch you around, guys. I am Thomas Duder, author of The Things. This is Haymakers and Hellhounds, Season 0. Coming to a wrap pretty soon. Hey, bring me your friends. Like, comment, subscribe. Bring me your party-ass friends. Bring them unto me. Bring them all unto me. And together we're going to kick some ass. That's what's up. Of course, you already know about Anubis Unit, thepenismysword.com. Hit me up on Patreon, on Fiverr. I'm even on Upwork. I'm on Simbi.com. I'm everywhere. So, with that stated, I hope you guys have been having a good time. And hey, I'll catch you on that final episode, right? Catch you guys around. Oh!